Hi there. Coming in. All right. So, little quick introductions here. Who do we have here, and what's the name of the film, and what is it about, and why should people go see this film?
So my name's Mitchka Saberi. I'm the producer of Mother of Chernobyl.
And I'm Alex Witt. I am the writer and director of Mother of Chernobyl. Um, the film is about a woman who stayed behind in the Chernobyl radiation zone, and the film starts with her giving birth to a child that's deformed, and she basically decides to trek back to Kiev, the capital of Ukraine, to try to reunite with her family.
So, I want to ask this real quick because this is one of the few films that was actually black and white. What was the decision behind doing this black and white versus color?
The film takes place in 1987, which, the time period in Ukraine at the time was not very colorful, there wasn't a lot of life happening, or not a lot of, it wasn't that exciting, or, and so when I first came up with the idea for the film, I always imagined it in black and white just because, I think adding all that color would take away from the story itself and the tragedy of the story.
What were some of the challenges that you faced in making these films? We'll start with you.
Yeah, so we had to shoot, we're a student film actually, so this film was produced at UCSB as part of a class, and we had to do, it was a period piece, obviously set in 1987 and set in Ukraine, but we shot all of everything locally in Southern California, so some of the challenges were kind of recreating all the sets to look authentic enough to convince people that it was actually in Ukraine. So I'd say like that was definitely one of the biggest challenges. And then the other one would probably just be time. We made this film in 9 weeks from like writing the script to wrap, just because that's the nature of the course. So it was a lot of hard work from our crew to kind of get that done. So that was definitely the other biggest challenge.
Again, like it was like a 9-week period of time to write the script from scratch, produce it and then edit it all together.
A lot of like emotion kind of tied to this, and it was kind of hard to not only try to produce this so quickly, but the fact that we needed it to be right so much because it mattered so much to us. And like, I mean, Alex had to edit the entire film himself because no one in our crew spoke Russian, and the film's in Russian. So
now, just to be on the safe side, I do got to say this film is subtitled, so don't be afraid to go and watch it. It's subtitled, people. Anything else that you want to add about the film that I didn't ask?
All the actors, apart from the little girl, are actually, and even her parents, are all from the Soviet Union. The main actress was in Ukraine during the Chernobyl disaster, and so if you're looking for a very personal connection in a film about Chernobyl, this would be a good film to watch.
In fact, that was actually the segue to my next and final question here. If there's a message that people should take away by watching this film, what would that message be?
I would say it's kind of, to me at least, it's kind of a contrast to like maybe the other stories we've heard about Chernobyl, like even the recent like HBO show. It's kind of about the explosion and the disaster and all these things that happened like in the rooms where that explosion took place. And I think that this narrative kind of has been missing from mainstream culture, is like the kind of more personal story. Like this is just one woman's story who lived in a village and had no idea kind of what was happening around her, and her personal struggles like against this like really huge disaster taking place around her. So I think it's kind of, if you want a more personal angle into this story, I think that hasn't been told as much. So
yeah, for me it was same thing. It was important to show Chernobyl outside of the kind of scope of the Soviet Union, and almost more of a personal, like Ukrainian as a community, how it affected them and how it affected the individual people of the Ukrainian people, and how they were able to be resilient and how it affected them.
Okay, and what are the screening times of this film?
it's going to be at the Arlington Theater as part of the Santa Barbara Live Action Shorts program. So we're screening alongside a bunch of other local films. So 7:30 tomorrow is when we're screening.
Perfect. All right. Thank you so much, guys, and thank you for just coming on this Facebook Live and being part of this.
Thank you so much.
Enjoy the rest of the festival.
Bye.
Thank you.